Good morning, Linda. We are here this morning. I'm not really sure why it's scheduled for tomorrow. And Joyce, good morning from Mesa. 104-ish today. Yeah, that's about right. It's a nice 76 out there right now, which is awesome because it was about 31 this morning when I let the dogs out. And here comes one of them. Get your ball, Tippy. Get your ball. We still have a couple minutes here, so we'll just chat until we get people hopping on. Yeah, we're here, Linda. We're here. Oh, how's the weather out in New York? Is it any better than here, I hope? We went straight from summer to winter. We didn't have a fall, and we've had so little rain. We're not gonna get those beautiful fall colors that we're accustomed to here. I always say it's God's way of giving us a great show before the bleakness of winter sets in. We get a long winter up here, lots of snow. So we're pretty much we stay in a lot during the winter. Lisa's here from Sugarland. Yeah, Linda, we're only gonna be in the 60s too. 50s and 60s mostly for the next couple weeks. We'll probably get a little bit of summer left for about a week or so, somewhere along the line. Yeah, we had some beautiful weather here too, Linda. I think you guys are about a day behind us. Good afternoon, Jenny. Nice to see you. We were just discussing how we have turned from summer to winter over here in the US. And the people down in Florida, oh my gosh, I feel so bad. If you believe in it, please pray for those people. They're going to need our prayers. They're going to need our help too. And I know I mentioned this last night, and I'll mention it again this morning, that Keepsake Quilting is accepting quilts and they will be delivering them to people in need down south. Okay. Joyce, we have children in Glendale and they are actually here right now, and they're saying the same thing. They love being in the cool weather. Uh, Newfield, New York, Jean, good morning. And they're very chilly there too. Patsy's in New Mexico. I'm sure that it is lovely weather there. It seems like it always was when we went through. Oh, Patsy, we need rain too. It seems to be all over the country. We need rain. Other than Florida. Florida can do without any more rain or bad weather. I really feel for those people down there. So this morning, what we're going to do is we're going to talk a little bit about the Dream Big Poinsettia Panel class that we have coming up. Hi, Di. Good morning. Nice to see you. For Jenny, send your rain over here to us. We'll be happy to take it. Oh, so anyway, I just kind of wanted to cover this briefly because a few people had asked me about it. And it is, they do call it a Dream Big, but it is a Dream Big holiday. And it's a Hoffman panel, so you know the quality of it is really, really good. And what I've got here is I've got a little bit of a list on what we would like to see you have, and I'll go over the dates because there will be on the 22nd of this month at 1 p.m. an informational class, and that will be a Zoom class. And it's not really class, it's more of a get together to discuss any questions or what you have and what you might want to get if you don't have certain things. But most of the items I'm pretty confident most everybody has. Good morning from Oklahoma. Carla, it's gonna be a warm, hot day. And Marcy's down in Houston. I loved Houston when I was there. Absolutely loved it, Marcy. So what I am asking for everyone to have is the poinsettia panel. Of course, it comes in 3 colors. It comes in white, pink, and red. And I'm gonna actually pull my panel out here in just a second. Panels can be ordered through 906quilting.com. Also, I am using on this panel what we call this is glamour thread. It is a beautiful thread, and the way that I used it on mine, and I'm gonna bring it over here. I only have partial parts of mine done because I wanna work on them with you, but not have too many panels going at once. So what glamour thread is, and I think you can see it pretty well here, is kind of a sparkly thread. It's a polyester. It's got a couple um a couple plies of regular with a ply of metallic woven in there, and it's 12 weight, so it's really nice and sizable and will show up beautifully on there. Okay, let's catch up here. Joyce, joining from Western Australia. Good morning, Joyce. You're heading into summer. I know, I know. Burning off the brush before summer to prevent wildfires. That's awesome. Catherine is here from Titusville, Florida, awaiting Milton. Oh, Catherine, please stay safe, okay? Linda said, if we order the panel this week, will we have in time? Absolutely, Linda. We're actually not starting class until November 1st. And Jan says she loves the red one. Okay, she did get a red one from me. And I do like the red as well. I think the red and they're all pretty. They really are. The reason that I chose to do the white one is because it better matches my Christmas decorations. So you might want to think about that, about what you how you decorate for Christmas. But anyway, I do have the glamour thread in silver and in gold and in green and red. And I do have those available at 906.com. Okay. The other thread that you're going to want on here is, of course, thread that will either match or contrast with the petals. I kind of prefer a matching thread. I'm going to use several different colors on mine. And with my thread, I'm also going with a smaller thread. I'm using a 50 weight for the designs. And let me show you that while I'm saying good morning to Christina from Stockholm. So nice to see you, Christina. Okay, so I'll get myself turned around here. And there we go. I think you can see. What the 50 weight thread does that I like so much is it gives more effect for showing the shadows of the design instead of the actual stitching itself. You can see the stitching, don't get me wrong, but it just kind of helps you see shadows better as well. And that's what I like. And if you really want this to be puffy, you can use wool batting on it. Wool has a really high loft compared to the 80/20. Um, I think it's beautiful for wall hangings. I had one here last night that I could have shown you this morning, but I went ahead and cleaned up my toys and put them away. Danielle, good morning from Quebec. Nice to see you. So nice to see you. So then again, we will, of course, want backing fabric, border fabric if you want to make it into a quilt. The panel, I believe, is 42 by 42. So if you want to make it into a quilt, it's really not that hard to do. Just put a couple borders on it and it will work out beautiful. Now, the templates that we really want you to have is the starter set, the template sampler set, 12-inch arc, the 8-point crosshair marker, and a spacing gauge, and stitching line discs. And I really believe that we all have that. Di, you know what? I absolutely love using wool batting as well. I love the loft. And with wall hangings, if you do the wool first on the top and then put down an 80/20, what it does is it makes that wall hanging hang nice and straight and stiff. It keeps it real stiff because wool batting has a beautiful drape to it. It really does. Had to get some caffeine there. So then the other templates that are recommended, and remember, these are recommended, not required. And I've got a little list of them here. Now, this is important to know, we have a Zoom platform class. So you don't have to go anywhere to do this class, and you will have the ability to interact real time with me and with your fellow classmates, which is really kind of fun. Actually, since I did my first Zoom class, I've never gone back. Every other class I've done is a Zoom class. And getting to know you all is just, I mean, I have a whole bunch of new friends here, and I think it's absolutely wonderful. Good morning, Kathy. Kathy is down in Texas. Joyce asked, "Is the glamour thread a metallic thread?" Yes and no. How's that? I know people just love when I say yes and no. It is 3 plies. 2 plies are polyester and 1 ply is metallic. So it can read as metallic thread, but you don't have all the breakage and the issues that we have faced in the past with metallic thread. There is a certain way of doing this thread. We're going to talk about that on the 22nd, to make sure that you're successful with it if you choose to use it. Again, suggestion, not it's not mandatory, okay? This is your project. I really want you to do it the way you want it done. Okay? Lee, good morning. Nice to see you. So, the classes will be um, recorded, so you will have them to refer back to. Now, some of the other things that we're going to have, and just a couple of these, I want to touch base with you because it was questioned last night, and I really thought it was a good question. I have tracing paper, marking pens. I like the Vis-a-Vis wet erase marking pens for marking my templates because they don't smear on my hands and they don't smear on the fabric. Of course, the chalk liner, practice paper, seam ripper, which hopefully none of us need our seam ripper. That's always my goal. Unfortunately, I don't think I've ever successfully met that goal with any quilt or project I've ever done. So the tracing paper, that was the question. Now, what I've decided is I am taking my tracing paper and I am putting it onto my petal, which is right here, and you can easily trace around it. And then what we can do is we can take it over to our desk and we can audition different patterns or different templates, which really is kind of cool. In the past, what most of us have used, and I have used it as well, I had a piece of acrylic, it was quite large, that I could take the dry erase markers and go ahead and outline my petal and then work on designing the design that I wanted to put into it. You know what, though? I didn't like the dry erase markers on my hands. They would always get on my hand, and I was always running in fear that I was going to transfer that marker onto my fabric. So I found this method with the tracing paper does not give us the sadness of transferring our dry erase markers onto our fabric. Those are very difficult to wash out. Okay, so that's the reason for the tracing paper. Plus, the tracing paper is pretty cheap, and you can throw it away or keep it. I find because it's so nice and thin, I can actually put the tracing paper that I used in with my templates after I'm done with the project, and then I've got ideas for the future as well. Joyce. Joyce has King Star Metallic, and it doesn't break, so can she use that? Joyce, absolutely, you can use it. I am enamored with King Star Metallic. I use it in my embroidery machine, and I never even have to slow down the embroidery speed to use it. It is a fantastic thread. The colors are just brilliant. And, I don't know who came up with that thread, but man alive, when they did, they produced a winner. I just love that thread. And like I said, to find a thread that you can easily use in an embroidery machine that's metallic it's really a coup as far as I'm concerned. Di said, "Before rulers" let's see, "Before rulers, I would draw on tissue paper, then pin to my quilt and sew my designs." Di, that is a great way of doing it, and I think there's probably been a time in the past where all of us have done that. If you recall, there used to be a product out there, probably still is, it was called gold paper, and it was, very much like tracing paper, except it was on a roll, and that's what to, we used to take and draw the design on and say if we had 12 blocks. We drew it once, we stacked up 12 sheets of or 12 squares of this gold paper, and then we used to stitch it without a thread in it, and then we used to be able to turn it over and have the nubby side of the paper up and use a rag with chalk on it, and that would mark our quilts for us. How much easier we have it today, right? So much easier. But it was out there, and I know I used it, and I'm pretty sure most quilters have, if you've been quilting a while. And good morning from the great state of Texas. And Maureen is here from Kansas. So we have a couple Kansas residents here with us this morning. So, what we're going to do on the 22nd of October at 1 p.m. Central Time, we are going to have an informational class for everyone who has signed up for the class. And that'll get us ready so that when we start the class on November 1st, we're going to be holding the class on Fridays. And right now, the classes are set for November 1st, November 8th, and 15th. However, I want you to know that I have kept and will keep November 22nd available if we want to meet one more time. The classes will be for 4 hours from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Central Time, okay? So it's 9 to 1 Mountain, it's 8 to noon Pacific, and 11 to 3 Eastern Time, okay, just to give you an idea. And we'd love to have you join us. The class is on the university. It's ready to be signed up for. And I know some of you have already signed up. I'm getting excited. This is going to be a really fun class. It is going to be more of a design class. I'm not going to say on this petal, we're going to stitch this design. We're going to talk about how to come up with the designs that we want to put on the petals. So I hope I see everybody there. Okay, so this morning we are here to talk about the Freedom Edge Heart. And this is a two-piece template set. And I'm going to tell you guys, I did a couple projects with this. I know I've got one university class for sure using this set of hearts. And I fell in love with them the day that I received them and started using them. They are easy templates to use, and the versatility is amazing. Now, I'm going to show you how to do a complete edge-to-edge design with this template. And here, what I'm going to teach you to do is a border design, and I'm going to teach you how to turn the corner. Oh, Di asked a really good question. Does the Zoom class have a limited number of seats? Yes, it does. The number that I have limited it to is 25. I find when there's more than that, we tend to get off track too often and have too much fun talking and not taking care of business. Uh, Jean says she has been looking at these for a while. Awesome, Jean. These are definitely, and they're not expensive. They're not an expensive set. So what we're going to do is let's go ahead and do this one first and get everything else out of the way here. If you guys could have seen the mess I had here last night, you just would not believe it. I consider myself to be somewhat neat. Last night I was not. What I've got here is I've got 2-inch increments. So the template itself, if you go from top to bottom, you're going to notice is 2.5 inches. But remember, we take that half off for the foot. So this is a 2-inch template. Tells us that right here. So there is no horizontal line to line up. But you know what? That's not the worst thing because what we can do is, oh, and I know what I was going to do. I also, because this is going to be an edge-to-edge design, I want to make sure to mark my edge. And there is my marking pen. Jenny, you haven't used yours yet. Well, I hope this will give you the inspiration to do that. Okay, there we go. I'm just doing that because I'm pretending that's my seam. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go from left to right. And I am going to line myself up. There it is. Looking for this little guy here. And what you're going to see is this etched heart will line up on the line that we have here. So this will match the last one that we stitched. And what I'm going to do, and I do have staple tape on both sides. I'm going to move you guys in just a little bit. There we go. You see that well? Okay, good. I'm going to start at the bottom. There we go. Okay. I don't have enough caffeine in me yet, sorry. Ah, we'll get there, I promise. And you'll notice, I know I've said it before, but I like to remind you guys because you probably think, "Oh, she is weird." I use up portions of um, bobbins when I am practicing. So what I'm lining up here, I'm lining up the bottom and the top of the edged line, and that's going to give me where I need to be as far as my height is concerned. Okay, I'll get a hold of those threads. I'm going to take my one stitch in place. Go all the way around. Remember, this is curved. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to keep your stitch a little bit shorter. Now, one thing you're going to notice is different about this heart than the rest of the hearts that we have. I'm going to take this out. And that is this top curve. This top is not a sharp point like our heart set. Okay, so this is just nice and gentle. Okay, Joyce says, what is the class called? I can't find it on the education site. Joyce, I will tell you here in 1 second. Okay. Sometimes I just forget what they're named, which is really easy for me because I forget a lot of things. It is called the Connecting Hearts Table Runner. That is the class that uses this set. That one was really popular. It's a fun class to do. I'm just looking to see. There's also, oh, that's a Zoom class, a Connecting Hearts Table Runner Zoom class. So I did 2 classes with this template. Hi, Carol. So nice to see you. Thanks for popping in this morning. Um, okay. Somebody asked a question. Uh, Jan says, I have this set. It was on her list for a long time. No time yet to test it out. Well, you know what, Jan? There's no time like the present, right? Okay, I'm just going to get rid of some of this thread here because I've got a lot of it. So I've gone from bottom to bottom on my template here on my heart. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come into, come on down there. I'm going to come into the flourish. I call it the flourish because I don't know what else to call it, quite honestly. And we're going to go ahead and we are going to stitch up to that. Now, you do not need to pick a side like we do with so many of our templates. My foot has really, there we go. It's really been giving me grief this week. Okay, so we're going to just go ahead and go around and we're going to stop when we get to the line. There we go. I'm going to take my template off. I'm going to put the heart back on, but I am going to flip it over. And when I do, you see the edged line here is going to be placed right smack dab above the heart that we already stitched. So let's go ahead and put another heart in. When we stitch these templates out for you, when we're demonstrating them, we actually are going much slower than you need to. okay? At least myself. I can't talk for the other educators, but for myself, I do like to go much slower. I like you to get a good feel for the ease of of the template in how it gets to where we're going. Okay, so now, oh, you know what I forgot to do? I need to flip this over. And now I'm going to go ahead and put my foot back in. This side does not line up with the previous um, heart that's stitched, and you'll see that. However, it's really easy to line this up to make sure you're in the right spot because this line and this point are going to fall at the top and bottom of those lines that we have drawn in. Those are 2-inch lines. And here we go. I like to hold on here. And now we are again coming to the bottom. And we're going to stop right here with our needle down. We'll take that out. I'm going to flip it over, and this time we're going to put the heart up, and it will this time fall. The previous line of stitching is going to fall under the etched line. Now, when you are flipping your template over, what I want you to be cautious about, and I'm going to take this out because when I have it with the edge line on top, we can be deceived as to where exactly that line of stitching is in correlation to the template. And if you have a strong light source, it can also throw a shadow, which may throw you off. So if you have the opportunity to have the template right side up, I usually take that opportunity, even if it means I'm flipping the template over one more time. It really does not take that long. It's not that difficult to do. It just gives us more precision when we're working. So here we go. Again, keeping the stitches just a little bit shorter because we have, and this template is so gentle. It is so easy to just make those curves. All right, I'm gonna turn you around. Normally, I would not do this much turning, but I want you to be able to see every step that I'm taking, okay? Let's see who came in. Julia's here. Hi, Julia. Nice to see you. And Bev is here from Ontario. Good morning, Bev. I hope that you all are going to have a beautiful day where you're at. I know the sun's going to shine here, but I think we're going to keep those temperatures just down a little bit all week. I find it kind of funny. Those of us who live in temperate climates where our winters are cool, but our summers are warm, if we had these temperatures during the winter, we would be running around with shirt sleeves. But in the fall, we've got blankets or winter jackets on already. Oh, goodness. How we can acclimate the human body, it's an amazing thing. Absolutely. So I've turned my template over, going to come back, make one more rotation here. Now, if I am at the end, okay, I probably will not or would not, I'm going to take this out. So stitch in, turn this around, this side of that flourish. Or if I did stitch it in, say this is the side where my seam allowance is. So if I did stitch it in, and I need to turn it over for this one, I would only stitch to that seam allowance. Sure, there we go. So I would go this far and stop. Now, if I did that, what I would need to do, I think what I would need to do, it's a personal preference, I would then need to come over here where I began. I'm going to line my template up again, put my foot down, pull that bobbin thread up. There we go. You'll see that's why you don't have to worry about being on one side or another. The foot snugs in here nicely. It does not hang up in here. It's just a perfect fit. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come back here and I'm going to stop at my seam line again. So that kind of finishes up the design a little better. Oh, surprise, I dropped something. Okay, so that is our first path. Hi, Kathy. So glad you can make it. Nearly on time today. It's okay, I don't take attendance. I will not send you to the principal's office for being late, okay? All right, I need to clip this off. Now, how would you do the second row? You know, that's a good question because we have options on that second row. We can put our downward, our the top of our heart down, or we can repeat this line exactly. But, you know, me being different all the time, you guys are kind of used to that by now, I'm sure. I'm going to put head to head and tail to tail, or top to top and bottom to bottom. I've never done it that way. I'm just curious what it's going to look like. Can we go in either direction on this template? Yes, and that is one of the beautiful things about this template. We can. Now, if you want to be sure that you have this lined up perfectly, what we will do, and this just has to be done on the first one, I'm going to come in and make a 1-inch mark because our template is 2 inches. So the 1 inch is going to put us right in the center, just like that. And you'll see how beautiful that marks out. And the first one is the only one that we need it on. So I'm going to come here, line my template up. You'll want to use your spacing gauge. And that is a perfect match, I believe. I could work with this template for weeks and never get tired of it. Come on. I could get tired of my bobbin thread. It's giving me a little grief here this morning, but that's okay. All right, line everything up there, find my foot. And again, I'm going to go from the bottom of the template all the way around and back to the bottom. Beautiful. I do really love this template. And now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put this in, but I've got it in upside down, right? No, I don't. Okay. This is the question I ask myself often, and you probably will as well until you get really accustomed to the template. Do I have it upside down or do I have it right side up? Let's get that thread on it there. thread's driving me nuts. There we go. Okay. So we're going to come up on this direction because we want to end at the bottom of the heart. We're going to put the bottom of the heart up here to do our next rotation. So let's go ahead and put our flourish in. Very nicely. It just comes out perfect. And if you need to take an extra stitch, go ahead. It's not going to hurt anything. And now I'm going to flip my template over again, and I'm going to put in my next heart. And you'll see how everything lines up beautiful. Around we're going to go. Take your time. This is not a process that you have to rush through. Actually, I prefer not to. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and put my flourish in. I'm going to make sure I'm lined up. How are we doing here? You know what, Joyce, you're absolutely right. It does make a very, very pretty border design. And with the other one, I'm going to show you how to do a border design with that as well. Okay, and I just got a glimpse of the time. So we may not be able to do all the stitching I was hoping to get to this morning, but we'll get some of it done. Okay, back down here, line everything up again. There we go. We'll at least get one more heart in here. I think we can get to the end of this row. Okay. And one more flourish. Okay, I forgot to flip it over. There we go. Okay. One more time. Up we're gonna go. And we're at the bottom of the heart previous. And we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna stitch one last heart. And here we go. Couldn't you imagine a little girl's quilt being quilted with this whole heart set? And you can see this does not take much time at all. It really doesn't. It goes by, well, rather quickly. I forgot what side I was on here. Let's go this way. There we go. Okay, and we're going to come up and we're going to stop again right here. There. What do you guys think? Isn't that cool? That is just one of the nicest templates ever. I love it. Oh, Di, I'm so sorry. It keeps freezing up on you. Linda, she just used this recently on sashing. Good job. Yeah, this is not the way it was intended to be used, but I love this. I really do. I like this very much. So that's how we can use this one as an edge-to-edge design. We also have a lot of template opportunities in this one, don't we? Okay, a little bit of caffeine, and we are, whoops, I've got to go ahead and cut that off. And we are ready to go to the next template. And this one is going to be turning a corner. Okay, so what I did on this one is here are my seam lines, here is my mitered corner. I'm going to go ahead and start on the corner, just simply because it's easier. Okay, now we can go through all the measurements. This is 2 inches. So if in fact our, whoops, down there we go. Our border to this point is divisible by 2. We are going to have an even number of rotations here. Whoops, let's get it up a little higher there so you can see what I'm talking about. This is our border seam. This is where our foot is going to fall. If from this point to this point is 2 inches. So if we have a border that's 10 inches, we can put 5 of these in there and we will stop. We will end up right here. Okay. So when we end up right there, I'm going to show you how to turn a corner. Let me do it this way. Let me just put a couple extra lines in here. Here I go. I'm gonna go late again, guys. Seriously thinking we should make this 2 hours, not 1. Okay, so there's 2 inches, and here's gonna be 2 inches. All right, so what I'm lining up here, I want to line up 1 inch away, not 2 inches. I want the center of it, which is gonna be 1 inch. I'm sorry. I want the center of the motif, and that we're going to do with a long line. Now I've got to go over 2 inches. Go here. One more time. There we go. So these long lines are 2 inches. 2 inches away, but 1 inch on the center. So, well, I don't have that number right either. So I'm just going to go ahead and stitch them in because I'm really not sure what I've done here. Let me use the oh, that's why. It's 3 inches wide, not 2 inches. Okay, no worries. So we've got 1.5 inch brings us to our center. So if our seam was divisible, if our quilt, I'm sorry, is divisible by 3, we can fit the right number in there. So there's 1. I'm going to put this over here. And that's the outside. So let's go ahead and put one in here. And I will show you how to turn the corner. Actually, let's do 2 because we can. Okay. Markings. These markings are very nice because we can line up this dashed line on our seam line here. Okay. You keep getting frozen up. Hey, Di, I am so sorry. I don't know what's happening. I don't see it on my end, but I don't know if anybody else has that problem, to be honest. Okay, so here we go. Did I move that or did I keep it where it's supposed to be? Oh, that's where it's supposed to be. Okay, and line everything up here. There we go. Pull that bobbin thread up. Okay. Up you go. There we are. Back down. Okay, so I'm gonna take my one stitch in place. Oops, I got a little catch there. And start it. Now this is where you want to be extremely careful coming around that corner because it's really, really easy to fall off of that cliff. Okay, again, around that nice, gentle center of the heart. And I'm going to slow way down to get around this corner. And there is my line that is divisible by 3. Now I'm going to go ahead and move this to the right in this case. And what we have is these edge lines are going to line up on top of our previous line of stitching, which is always a good thing. Lee says, okay, so far we have everybody doing good, Di. Lee said if you're on Facebook, it does seem to freeze up a lot. But you said you're on, it looks to me like you are on YouTube, Di. So I really am not sure what's happening. Hopefully the recorded version won't lock up or freeze up on you. Okay, so now this is going to be our second rotation. Nice and steady. All the way around. And now we're going to end up right in our corner. Okay, which is exactly where we want to be. I'm going to take this out and you'll see how nice that looks. It's again, template possibilities here, guys. Oh, Jean made it in from Mount Vernon, Washington. Good morning, Jean. And Judy Paul's here from Wisconsin. Good morning, Judy. Love your rubber ducky. So now, to turn the corner, I'm going to go ahead and put this back on. This is where we ended up. Well, to turn the corner, we're definitely not going to come like this. What we're going to do is we're going to come right to the center of the heart only. We're not going to worry about these 2 flourishes down here. So what I've got is I have my foot directly between these dashed lines here. I have the center of my heart on the mitered line right there. I am just going to stitch around the heart and the heart only. Again, that beautiful, easy transition from one side to the next. And we're going to come and meet where we started. Okay, we're going to end up right where we started. Now we can move our template down, get ourselves back on that seam line here, and off we're going to go. Okay, nice and easy. We'll do one more. There we go. And we'll do one more heart, okay? Making sure to line up and match with our edged line. the more that you stitch with these, the easier they become. This particular template, you do not need to put staple tape on both sides because if you flip it over, it's exactly the same design as if you use it right side up. Okay, so there we go. I'm not going to end my thread here because there's one more thing I want to show you. Is that beautiful or what? Isn't that just a beautiful transition? I love it. Okay, Carla asks, I'm sorry, what if you cross over instead of being alone along the edge? Okay, so what you're asking is what if I had this part down here? And I've not done that, Carla. So I would have to do that. And I think what would happen, okay, so if I had this part up here on the line, yeah, it still would make it awkward to make this corner with this flourish attached to it. Okay. This is how I like to do the outside. Now let's go ahead and do the corner from the inside and see what we need to do, okay? I'm gonna just elongate this line a little bit. There we go. And we're going to face our template in. Now, what's really nice is these are going to end up meeting here. And if you wanted to, you'd be able to use this as well as an edge-to-edge design. You know, it's really kind of funny because we've not really talked a whole lot about edge-to-edge designs with our templates until recently. And now it's like every template I look at, I think to myself, can and how would I use it for an edge-to-edge design? Okay, so this one we're going to come here. Okay, so what's going to be awkward on this one is again using the heart. So what I'm going to do on this one to make it work out, I'm going to just do the flourish coming into the corner. There we go. Now I am going to line up my heart and this will stitch over that flourish a little bit. Oh, and it looks like my foot vibrated loose. There we go. And quite honestly, I don't think I'm liking this a whole bunch. It works, but it's kind of awkward. Okay, and then come back out this way. And we can make one more full heart. And all the way around. Again, taking this spot here, keeping ourselves guided by the template. We're not pushing on the template. We're not pushing on the foot. We're just being guided. Okay, there we go. Now let's take a look at this little guy here and see what we've got. And see if this actually works. Okay. Oh, there it is. I knew that thread. Okay, so if we were to do the inside, this is how it would look. Does it work? Yeah, but not to me, it's not as pretty as the outside. Um, if you could come into the highest point here and then move that template up a little bit, that might help us. And in order to do that, what we might want to do, oh, I'm sorry. What we might want to do is come in with this template, stitch up to here, put our heart in, and then come back down here. And that would fill this corner up just a little nicer. So I'll have to do some drawing on that and see if we can't come up with that. But this is what the outside looks like, and I absolutely love that outside um, design here. And I understand what I think it was Carla asked about coming out all the way with this portion in the end, but what would happen is we would end up coming out this way and have to put our heart here, or coming out this way, putting our heart here. So we really almost are relegated to having this heart come in a little smaller or a little shorter, I'm sorry. But what you could do if you wanted to, you could go ahead and break out your heart templates and just put a larger heart here in that on that diagonal. And that would look very pretty too. Carla says, no at the point. I agree. No. I agree. Oh, so that is what we have for you this morning. We've covered an awful lot today already, and our morning hasn't, for some of us, is just beginning. And for others of us, our day is just ending, right? So we do have that. Jenny, your day is getting over with. Joyce, thank you. It is a pretty design. It really is. And I love when we can come up with edge designs or border designs that are easy to turn, because not all of them are, as we have found out in our border class. So if there's no additional questions, we'll go ahead and let you enjoy the rest of your day. And don't forget, like, subscribe, share. If you have any problems getting to the university class for the Poinsettia panel, just go ahead and get a hold of me. Be more than happy to walk you through that. And until we meet again, let's quilt.